Warning! What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
Ladies and gentlemen, dorks and dweebs, nerds of all ages, GeekPod Network Productions is proud to bring to you the most electrifying middle-aged guys in Syracuse, the Doctor, Hugh Allen, the Pod Whore, Paul Showens. Alone, they are single geek beacons in a dark cop drama world. But when the mics go hot, they are GeekPod. God bless me!
Let's do it.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of GeekPod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
And I'm Corbs.
And I'm going to talk for a second. As some of you may have noticed, the drinking on the show has gotten way out of control, and the primary fault of that is mine. And I've had a rough week. Last week's show, I don't remember most of the last half of last week's show or anything until the middle of the afternoon the next day. And I've determined that I have a drinking problem. I know that some of you know that in the past I did, and it seemed like I reeled myself in, became the beer guy, was good in moderation and all that. But if you've ever seen me on day 2 of a 2-day show in the morning, I had a rough night because I'm not able to stop myself once I get started. And I thought this was all behind me, but the events of last weekend kind of put it in perspective that I need to stop drinking for good. Now, I've talked to a lot of people this week, had some meetings, not going to go into details of, with who or what or whatever. Some people said I shouldn't bring this up. I shouldn't publicly say something. Some of the reasons where, they don't want you to say what program you're in case it doesn't work because people might think that program doesn't work. Others are, people don't want to hear about your problem because it makes them examine whether or not they have a problem. A third one was some people think you're just looking for sympathy. So I wanted to address that very succinctly. I don't want sympathy from anyone. What I want is accountability. The people that listen to the show comprise my entire social circle, and someday COVID will be done, and we will be doing conventions and shows, and I want to make sure that I have no place to hide. Now, I don't, just so you're not all too worried about me, I haven't been doing that like every single day. I haven't been, sneaking drinks. I mean, there was a point in time where I was fucking passed out, for 3 days at a time, but I've decided that I can't stop. I don't have the ability to stop. And I'd like to read something that I found on Reddit today that really spoke to me. It's very brief, but this person said, but I drank a few times a week, and sometimes it was really cute and fun. Sometimes it was really awkward and I felt like crap. But sometimes I would black the fuck out and have no idea how I'd gotten home. There was no way for me to prepare or plan which it would be. It was a gamble anytime I took a drink. So this is when I learned I do have a problem with drinking, and I don't want to take that risk. And that's kind of where I am. I might be able to drink the next 50 times I drink, everything's fine. But that 51st time, or it could be the third time, who knows? If there's no limits, we're sitting at home on Zoom, and there's no, there's nothing to stop me like, oh, I have to drive home or something like that. And, somebody said, you always have another chance to relapse, but you might not have another chance at recovery. I think it's time. I've had my fun. My card needs to be revoked. And sorry for being such a sloppy mess the past few shows. And please, if anybody out there is having any struggles, I'm finding a lot of good resources. Reach out to me through the show. I certainly can't claim to know anything, but I know people that do. So thank you for listening. I hope this isn't too much of a downer, and don't ever let me say, oh, we'll just have one ever again. Thank you.
I guess that's on us.
Yeah.
On you? Yeah.
We get to be your watchman, I guess.
Oh, that's pretty cool. But I mean, you got to be the naked blue guy with the dick hanging out, right? You're Dr. Manhattan all the way.
No, so we have a problem with that because I've made it very clear often on this show and off the mics. I'm Irish, so I can't be the guy with the dick. Let's just put it that way. I'm probably more like I would say I'm more of a Owlman or Nighthawk or whatever the fuck his name was too. The overweight middle-aged guy.
Oh, the comedian? No, wait.
No.
Well,
Night Owl.
Man was Night Owl.
Yeah. Night Owl too. Because I just remember from the actual
comic. Pete from X-Force?
Pete from X-Force?
What the fuck?
Deadpool 2?
Pete. Was he just a regular dude with a mustache?
Yeah, just a regular dude.
I couldn't remember the name, but I knew what you were referring to. I guess he doesn't want to be in The Watchmen. I guess I have to loan him that movie too.
Yeah, I've never seen it. So.
Hey, Forbes, you can be Silk Spectre, okay?
Okay.
The implications from that bother me. I'm just gonna say.
Well, I can say that because he has no idea what I'm talking about.
Right. You're just like, sure, okay.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that.
All right, so let's roll into the show now. We lost a segment for good reason, but we're bumping a new player to our format right up to the beginning of the show. Guys, what are you playing?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Corbs, what are you playing?
Yeah. I'm playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla also.
How about you, Paul?
I was playing Uno earlier. No, I'm just kidding. I also have
wait, by yourself?
Creed. Yeah, that's the only way. No one will play. It's just me. My family hates me.
You play Uno Attack by yourself?
Was I attacked by Uno?
One, doesn't it? Doesn't Uno mean one? You're not supposed to play that
never
alone?
Made sense, right?
I just want to say, it's more like Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
It's an amazing game. And
I'd
like
is
to
a lot of fun.
You guys talk about it because I've already done that.
Well, I'm just gonna say that knowing my track record, we're gonna go ahead and say that I am the least far in the game.
You gotta download it though. You gotta download it on the PS4, correct?
Yes. Yep. Okay.
Do you know how many hours on your save file? How many hours you are into it?
Does that count in seconds?
Well, no, you look. Okay, just go on. Have you gotten past the loading screen yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I'll start. I've made it. You know how you start out as in your whole origin story as the little kid?
Yeah.
Yep, made it through that.
Did you?
Then,
okay,
fucking kidding? So you made it through like the first 4.5 minutes of the game?
It seemed way longer than that. But I also didn't get to start until like 11:45 p.m. So I had a short amount of time to play. Yeah. Well, I had to get up and go to work the next day.
Oh, okay, that'll work. So.
So I made it through basically the first intro scene, and then his escape from the boat and everything. Okay. And then I got started in Norway. I didn't get far at all, and I was like, "Oh my God, it's 1:00 in the morning. I got to go to bed."
Yeah, I was at that point too.
Yeah, but you probably got further in the game. Now
I
again,
did. I started at like 7:00.
We'll see. That's good. Corbs, is this your first Assassin's Creed game as well?
Very first one.
Okay, so I didn't do any research or anything ahead of this. I just was like, cool, this is a really cool Viking game. I can't wait to try this out. Yeah, threw me off when they did the whole fucking DNA sequencing thing.
Yeah.
I was
did
like,
you get to the modern day part?
No, you don't get to the modern day. You get to, like in between when you do your origin and then you choose if you're going to be a dude or a chick. Yeah. They do the whole DNA sequencing and the animus, whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, when you get that's when you get to pick. You can be a girl. You can be either. You can do either or, and then you can be the guy.
Yep.
So I chose the guy.
As did I.
So and then after that, you got to go. You have to like center your. It tells you like the center the circle thing. You got to do all that crap, and you get after. Did you get after that part of it? Like when you're on the beach, when you find the guy that killed your father.
Yes. Yeah, and he's got you captured.
Yeah, and you're supposed to get on the boat.
Yep.
You get off. You kill the two guys there and get off the boat.
Yep.
That's as far as you've got.
Yep. Right after that is when I had to shut it off.
Okay.
So
All right,
literally
yeah,
the moment you get to start playing the game.
Yeah, I'm farther off than that. So I got off the boat. I rescued the crew, and then I sailed back to Fordham or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's where I am. I did the two whatever quests that were there. You had to go find the lady's hut up in the mountains, and then you got to talk to the king.
Gotcha.
So, and after that, I did the next one after that when you have to go and do the raid at one of the guys' places. That's where I am. I keep dying, and I can't. I'm getting pissed.
Really? That's interesting. Now, what difficulty do you have it on?
Whatever the default was, I didn't do it anything. I didn't change anything on it or anything like that.
Just so you know, you can change that whenever you want.
Okay.
And if you're struggling with it, I would. Especially these early raids. I mean, I don't think you should be dying. I will. A few things I ran into, okay, which I didn't. The game didn't really teach me this. So your two triggers on your right hand side, the top trigger, which is some people call it a bumper, that's your light attack. The other one's your heavy attack. You probably know that. Okay.
Yep.
Now your heavy attack, this is not intuitive. You don't hold it down. You have to tap it to make the heavy attack work. You don't hold it. Holding it is what brings up your ability wheel. And I did the same thing. I'm holding it down, pressing it. I mean, it's literally a quick tap, or it functions as something else. But I'll be honest with you, I don't even use that. I use nothing but the light attack in the game. It's effective.
Right. Probably quicker, right?
It's definitely faster with the right weapons, of course. But I mean, at this point, I mean, once I realized that, I kind of stopped. Like, I would try to use if sometimes if you dodge an enemy or whatever, occasionally it'll freeze. There's a ability you can get that'll make that happen more often. But it's almost like you slow down time for a second, or if you dodge and you have an opening, hit them with a heavy attack then if you want to. But I mean, I probably haven't used the heavy attack in the last 30 hours of gameplay. Probably not even once.
See, what has happened with me when I'm on that island and I'm fighting those guys is they blow up the wagons and the wagons catch on fire, and you get anywhere close to it, you like catch on fire.
Oh, and it's a pain because it seems like you don't even have to be in the fire to catch. Like if you're just close enough. So what you want to first of all, stay back. You know, let them do their thing. Stay back. You know, you don't have to get that close. Also, you can. And it doesn't really work as effectively as I'd like it to. But if you use the dodge button and press a direction, you'll roll. When you're on fire, if you roll, if you have enough stamina to roll at least, that can help put the fire out. But yeah, that was a huge pain in the ass in the beginning. Of the game
that's the issue I'm having right now. That's where I keep dying. Like I get through, like, I'll say 90% of it, and then all of a sudden, next you know, I'm walking by like one of the things, or somehow it blows up when I'm next to it, and I catch on fire, and then I'm like, I can't put myself out. Like, well, if I'm close enough, like I'll run to the water and jump in the water, obviously, and put myself out. But you lose like a shit ton of health getting there. Yeah. So that's where I'm having the issue right now.
Yeah.
So.
Use the roll. It's stop, drop, and roll. You know. Okay. I mean, you have to roll about twice to put yourself out, which is a pain in the ass, but that might help. But just stay away from those jars if you know where they are. But I would also, I would ratchet the difficulty down, because here's the thing: once you get good at the game, you can always ratchet it back up as well.
Okay.
You know,
I'll take a look at that too.
Would not want you to get frustrated and stop playing. See, you both chose the guy, huh?
Yeah.
That means we can't talk about the girl, because I chose the girl, and I wanted to talk about how, you know, in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you could definitely say that the main the female character, and she's considered the canon character, was very sexy. You know, she wasn't like overly, I mean, she was a warrior, you know, but she was athletic and all that. It was almost like a very empowering, attractive type thing. The female character in Valhalla is a completely different beast. You know, with the right outfit, she might look like a man, and it's really the voice that gets me. It's like a trucker voice almost. And I made some notes on it today. She sounds like years of hard liquor, unfiltered Pall Malls, and bad choices in the dark corners of a trailer park. It's very interesting, but it grows on you, and you get to a point where it's almost natural. And I think that gives the character a ton of character. So I don't know if, like in Odyssey, people felt that playing as the guy was actually kind of a letdown, that the girl was a better choice. I don't know how it is here because I haven't played as the guy, but you guys can switch back and forth, so you might want to flip flop it and
At least for
go
some
through
of it, yeah, try it out, see
Yeah.
what's doing.
Well, apparently, if you let the game decide, what actually happens is you play as the girl almost the entire game, except for like 2 segments or something. So it's almost a non-choice, and I guess there's reasons for that, but I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Gotcha. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So what other takeaways do you guys have?
Oh, I like the game. Like I said, I've only played it. I only played it when I got it. It was supposed to come out Wednesday. Paul knows. It was supposed to come out Wednesday, and I got an email at like 4:00 on Wednesday afternoon. It says, "Oh, your game won't be there until tomorrow now." And I was looking forward to getting a chance to play it. I was going to get a chance to play it on Thursday. I was going to get it all set up on Wednesday, play for a little while, and then play most of the day on Thursday. But it didn't happen. It didn't show up till Thursday afternoon. But I texted Paul, said I got it, and I downloaded it. And, so I started playing it. But I didn't play it today because I was busy doing laundry today. So
All day?
yeah, actually it was all day. A lot of laundry. So I do the laundry for me, my son, and my mom. We do it all together. So there was like 7 loads of laundry. So and in the apartment, I got to go up and down the stairs. It's not right here. And
Oh, I gotcha.
yeah. Attached to my house. So
Yeah, that might be easier if you do like a load as it's dirty, like every couple days.
It probably
I want to
would
help you, man. There's not a program for this, so I just got to use my my best judgment here. But
I mean, it probably would be a lot easier to do it. Maybe we'd try to do it once a week, but sometimes we push it off. Like if we got stuff going on or whatever, we may push it to once every 10 days. So we tried to get it in like once a week, but lately it's been a little longer than that. And usually it's only like 4 or 5 loads. So it's usually not too bad, but today was bad because we did sheets, we did we had table covers. Yeah, we did it all. We did it all. Strip the bed, strip the pillows, my bed, my son's bed, my mom's bed, all that stuff. So we had a couple extra loads of laundry to do. So that's all. That's the reason why there was more loads to do.
I have to ask, while the laundry was running, were you just sitting in there staring at it? Because you could have gone back to your TV and played Valhalla until it was time.
No, I had some shows to catch up on that I had taped and stuff like that. So I was watching DVD.
Were any of them supernatural?
No. And Paul, you'll like this. I did start watching Vikings.
See, the show spurred it on, didn't it?
See, the game. You know what? I watched the final episode of that this week.
So it's all over?
It's all over. They are doing a spinoff that happens in the future. As I understand it, like 80 to 100 years in the future, it's going to Netflix. I don't know how this is all going to work. I mean, you guys can Google search it. It probably would have been in production by now if it wasn't for COVID, but it definitely is happening. And I will tell you this, Vikings is one of the better shows I've watched, and I urge you to watch it. I've already said, hey, there's a point at which it's going to get difficult. And I want to say with the ending this last season, I mean, actually the very last episode, I mean, there were some really, really high points, some characters returning and stuff. I don't want to say I was let down. I don't want to say that they stuck the landing either. And I can't really talk about it without ruining things, but it's kind of like a 7 years the show was on. And the people you end up with at the end are not the same people you had at the beginning. It's like you had a group of heroes for like 5 seasons, and then the show ends up ending with people who weren't even around back then. They did the best they could. I mean, some of them were. I mean, some of them were introduced, in there. But I mean, the people you'd say season 1, these are the main characters. Season 2, these are the main characters. Season 3, season 4, none of them are around anymore. So it was very strange to see the show end so far from where it began.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Literally. And I don't know that they could have done any better with what they had and the people they had to work with. But I did walk away kind of going, man, I know I couldn't hope for more because I knew they couldn't do more. They did the best they could and it wasn't bad.
Right.
But I wasn't completely happy.
All right. Be interesting to get there.
I've only gotten I'm only like 3 episodes in.
I think that's about where I am.
I watched the first 3 episodes, so
well, you're gonna be hooked.
I liked it. Yeah, I liked that it was good. The main character, Paul, you'll realize this. He reminded me a little bit of Jax.
Yep.
So that kind of it kind of kept me a little more interested in it. I was like looking at him going, man, he looks and reminds me a lot of Jax Teller. So I was like, okay, this is going to be cool. And people I know have said it's a good show. I've seen people on Facebook talking about it, stuff like that. I know you guys have talked about it, stuff like that. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a try, and I am going to start watching. Supernatural. I'm going to kind of try to watch a couple episodes of Vikings.
No, you're not.
Well, I'm going to try.
Don't lie, you fucking liar.
Right after he
Your
starts
word
Walker.
means nothing to me.
Walker. Yeah, as soon as I watch Walker.
He's starting with Walker first.
Every week you say you're going to watch Supernatural, and then you relapse and don't. So
You're right.
I'm pretty sure that's one thing that wasn't brought up last week was Supernatural.
No.
And
Did we bring it up last week?
No,
I have
and I
no
don't know
idea.
how
Don't
in a
ask me.
3-hour episode.
I think we brought up when we were talking about Assassin's Creed last week, because it was something I said something that keep me from watching Supernatural or something like that.
There might have been a one-off on there. Yeah.
It actually, you know what it was? It was off mic.
Oh.
Because I remember, because Hugh had just come back. It was after the first break. Hugh had just come back in right as we were talking about it. Because I said I ordered it, and I wanted to, so we were supposed to be here on Wednesday or something like that. And you and I were talking. I'm like, yeah, son, anything to keep me from watching Supernatural. And you came because I hate you. So that's what it was. I do remember that. So.
All right. So I think speaking of our first break, we're going to hit our first break, and then we're going to come back and get into what's got us geeked.
All right. That'll work.
All right. Stay tuned, guys.
Good.
The 4th annual Sci-Fi Horror Fest returns in 2021 with an all-new location. This family-friendly event will have new celebrity guests, new activities and attractions, as well as a diverse selection of vendors, ranging from horror and sci-fi merchandise, artists and authors, tattoo artists, podcasts, as well as unique vendors like breweries and wineries. Sci-Fi Horror Fest will be held on August 27th and 28th at the Vernon Downs Casino and Hotel in Vernon, New York. Guest announcements will begin after the new year. For all up-to-date information, including tickets, vendor space, and sponsorship packages, go to www.sci-fi-horrorfest.com. Please note, dates of event are subject to change due to any lasting issues due to COVID-19.
And we are back. So before we talk about what's got us geeked, I feel like we need to do a little bit of an update on the Capitol story from last week, mostly because Corbs admitted he doesn't read the news, and I want him to know what the fuck is going on in the world because he's my friend, and he should know. So a couple things, Corbs, because I'm talking to you, not the audience, because they pay attention to the news. We're not going to go into detail. This is not going to be a long thing, but a few things that came out this week. First of all, they discover they're starting to think it's an inside job, which we briefly touched on before. They noticed that the day before the riots, a bunch of Republican congressmen or friends or whatever gave a lot of tours of the Capitol. Like even before it happened on that day, they noticed it was really strange activity because, since the coronavirus has been pretty much locked down, but members of Congress and such could bring special guests in. And there were a ton of people, and they are now matching them up to people who participated in the riots. And what they feel is that it was a reconnaissance mission.
Oh.
So there were people who were complicit in this, who were showing them around, helping them get the lay of the land so they would know what to do the next day. Add that to it appears that some of the Capitol Police might have let them in.
Right.
I mean, that right there, I didn't expect that. I mean, in the heat of the moment, yeah, I'm for Trump. Okay, I'll let you in. Okay, it could happen. When I saw this, I'm like, holy fuck. I mean, yeah, maybe they really should be, prosecuted or treated like traitors, because that's fucking crazy. They didn't just show up. It wasn't just done in the spur of the moment. I mean, obviously, because they brought their gear and real pipe bombs and shit, but they actually scouted the place out the day before. That's kind of fucked up. Another thing is a French, I don't know if he's a philanthropist or businessman or what, donated millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin to far right people who were involved in this right before this happened. So a ton of money was poured into some high profile people, and I forget the name. One of the names I've actually heard of. He's a far right, talking head. But it appears that somebody also funded this to some degree, or at least attempted to. We don't really know. It's a breaking story, but every single piece of information that comes out seems to make the thing more damning. And maybe there's more to the story that I haven't read, but just those two bits right there, it's flabbergasting.
It's almost like it's something out of a goddamn movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's insanity, and the death toll is up to 5 now from it. Yep. 2 police officers, I believe, are dead now because of this.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
crazy shit, guys.
Yeah,
that's all I got. Unless you have something else, Paul.
Well, I heard something. My mom had mentioned something about that there, with the inauguration being this coming week and stuff like that. That they were saying that there's going to be more rioting at Capitol buildings.
Yeah, and some, I guess it's QAnon people, message board people. Basically, they said that there are going to be riots in all 50 capitals. Now, whether this is just QAnon bullshit or whether we now see that they can plan something and we have no fucking idea that it's happening. So I'm not going to take for granted that couldn't happen.
No, and they're taking this serious enough that our Albany office, which is literally down the hill from the Capitol, will be closed on Wednesday. They told everybody that has the capability to work from home Wednesday.
Wow.
So yeah, this is legit. I think there were FBI briefings warning everybody that all 50 capitals.
Yeah, and there are Secret Service and soldiers sleeping there now. They have like round the clock,
National Guard.
Yeah, I saw a picture of a congressman walking down a hall, and there's soldiers sleeping, on both sides of the hall because they're there 24 hours a day, and they have nowhere for them to stay. But yeah, they're taking it really seriously. Yeah. And that tells me that because they have more information than we do, of course, they wouldn't be having soldiers sleeping in hallways if there wasn't something we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So there must be more weight to these rumors than has been officially reported.
Right. More military personnel in Washington, D.C. right now than in Iraq and Afghanistan put together.
That's fucking insane.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely insane.
I get to watch a lot of news when I'm at physical therapy when they're icing me down at the end. They put me right in front of the TV. So this is the only reason I'm well informed.
Welcome to America.
Yeah. Insanity. And it almost feels fake to say, guys, what's got you geeked?
It does feel fake. So for me, it's going to be the return of hockey. I finally got a chance to get back to hockey. My nephew's not playing this year. He decided not to play, and obviously they're not playing anyways. Mm-hmm. High school's not playing, and his house team isn't playing, so he's not playing anyways. But he decided not to play. So that for me is the return of professional hockey. Again, I'm a Vancouver Canucks fan. I've been a Canucks fan since '94 when their farm team was the Syracuse Crunch. So I got the chance they played the first 2 days. They split, they're 1-1. So, but just a return of hockey for me. I mean, it's nothing too big for me. So just a chance to be able to watch some hockey on TV, another sport to watch. I hate watching NBA basketball, a bunch of whining little bitches playing basketball. But hockey, hockey it's pretty much a gladiator sport. You got guys running around with sticks, hitting each other with them. So that and lacrosse, but that's it for me. I'm not going to get too much into it. So.
Well, what I
okay.
I'm geeked about that. That was impressive. What's got me geeked? There's small things. Like I've said, it was a rough week, so I'm looking for the small victories. The first, which I think is exciting. The Curiosity Mars rover celebrated 3,000 Martian days on Mars. That's an impressive milestone. Just 5 weeks out from the next lander that's supposed to land there. It's still going to a degree, and it certainly shows. I almost said marksmanship. It's like it's last week all over again. Human craftsmanship, that we can build something that can last that long on such an unhospitable planet. So that kind of raised my spirits. The other thing, did you know that Fruity Pebbles is celebrating its 50th anniversary? The cereal,
did
Fruity
not.
Pebbles.
Yeah.
Well, in celebration of that, they released a Fruity Pebbles coffee creamer. And I found it today at Walmart.
God.
I was so excited. And I ran home because, as you know, they always release different flavors of coffee creamer. And they all kind of taste the same. They kind of taste like sugar. I mean, anything that's chocolate, even chocolate, vanilla, caramel, white chocolate, they all taste exactly the same. Now, sometimes you get something different when they do like white chocolate raspberry. You get a little bit of the berry in there. It's different than everything else. And you've got the cinnamon one that they do, that with a little bit different. But if it's not cinnamon or peppermint or raspberry, they all kind of taste the same no matter what it says on the label. I was thinking to myself, Fruity fucking Pebbles, that's got to be different. And let me tell you guys, I cracked the top on this when I got home like it was a 2-year-old aged imperial lager. Okay. And I went, and I got every single fruity note that I remember from my childhood. The strongest one always being the lemon. It's kind of like lemon with fruit vomit, backing it up. And I made a cup of coffee with it. And oh my God. I mean, first of all, it's weird. Just like Paul only having a head right now. You looked up and your body appeared, but you only had a head for a second, just a head. It is weird. Damara took a sip and she's like, and the strongest note in that is lemon. And lemon and coffee don't generally go together. But those backup players of whatever fruits those other colors of little crisp rice are supposed to represent kind of make it work.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it either is something I'm glad I tried, or it's going to become my all-time favorite coffee creamer, and I'm going to cry when it goes away. And just because it's so different. And they're also doing a Cocoa Pebbles coffee creamer that I know is just going to fucking taste like everything else. But this is the most different coffee creamer they've ever released. And that really has me geeked, if you can't tell.
Outstanding.
Nice.
How about you, Paul?
I'm really geeked about the official announcement that just came out on Saturday from Sci-Fi Horror Fest. They made the announcement with their friends from Three Fat Nerds, one of our friends in the podcasting world in the area. And they announced that it is CJ Graham, who was Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. So that's going to be really cool to be able to hang out with him when we're up there in August. It'll be my second Jason that I've gotten to hang out with. Because Kane Hodder, I hope I'm saying it right, chilled with us back in the early days of the Jeff Watkins Syracuse cons. He was on the same one as Daniel Logan.
That was before me then.
Before us. This is when
so
I was just a con goer.
I would have flipped my lid to hang out with Kane Hodder.
Yeah. Very, very large man.
CJ Murphy is also cool. Jason
Graham.
Lives.
You misspoke there. Sorry.
CJ Graham. No, my bad. Because you know what? I went to look it up and I typed the wrong thing, and then I corrected myself because Google, like when I typed CJ, Google also gave me a list of things.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, Jason Lives is one of my favorite Friday the 13th movies because that's kind of when things flip to the supernatural.
Yes.
That's when he gets hit by the lightning and Tommy Jarvis is there in the graveyard and everything. And I mean, up until that point, he could have just been a human serial killer. That's where things took the dark twist. They kind of became the Jason of Voorhees that we all know and love. And one of the best. I mean, Jason definitely changed from killer to this inhuman killing machine, and you can even see that in his mannerisms and the way he moves, and almost when he wakes up and kind of realizes he's not what he was. And that definitely, I mean, that has to, in a great part, if not all, be due to the way CJ Graham played him.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a good time. Can't wait. And if this is their first one out of the gate, I can't wait for more announcements.
Oh, yeah. So
it's going to be a good time. Been talking to Tiffany Beth a lot. She's excited to hang out with us for that weekend. So no pressure, guys. Make sure you both have a free weekend there. So,
all right,
no pressure at all.
None.
No pressure.
No.
Just one of my favorite fictional characters of all time.
Right. And no pressure to see if you can get a free weekend on, your daughter's birthday weekend. So
Yeah, that'll be a test. Miss her birthday.
Yeah.
There are things they call stressors and triggers. I need to watch those. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
No. So I mean, at the very least, I think you're gonna at least see two of us there for sure, both days. Maybe we'll get a special appearance by all three of us at one point, but we'll see how it goes. So,
all right.
Up next, Hugh, what's in the news?
Man, every time you say up next, it gets thrown to me. I feel like I'm doing all the heavy lifting here. So let's talk news. A lot of stuff happened this week. First off, no rest for the worthy. I don't know if you caught this, but Chris Evans has apparently signed a contract to return as Captain America in the MCU in some sort of limited capacity. Now, that may be similar to Robert Downey Jr., just showing up in a few of the Spider-Man films and such. But he's not dead. So that makes me wonder, it's either going to be in the past, or are they going to do old man Cap and then have him rejuvenate him or whatever? I mean, it can't all be in the past, I don't think. I mean, with the movies on the schedule, none of them lend me to think that we're talking about stuff that's happening in the past. So I think that it must be current.
I would think so, but we are jumping back a little bit for Black Widow too.
Yeah, that's already filmed though. That's already done. Is that part of the deal? I wouldn't think so.
No, you're right. It wouldn't be part of his deal, but I'm saying that we can do jumping around in the timeline now.
Oh yeah. I mean, it just we know what movies are coming up, and none of them scream to me, "Oh, here's something that could have happened before Endgame."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That Captain America would be in, naturally be in.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, you have things where he could possibly show up in like Doctor Strange 2, which is going to be about the multiverse, so that could be a possibility.
Yeah. But again, I mean, isn't that almost done with filming? I mean, I get the impression this is a new thing.
Have they started filming? I'm not sure. I mean, I would hope so at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I keep hearing stuff about it. I don't know. I get the impression this is for new appearances, but who knows? It's going to be exciting to have him back. I mean, they are facing a very tough problem there on how. I mean, that was the most graceful exit for a superhero. I mean, it was perfect. How do you not, trample all over that? Well, the comics did it. They made him old and they made him young again, so they certainly could do it. But we'll have to see what happens. Next up, McAvoy or Stewart. These timelines are confusing. It was announced this week that Deadpool 3 is officially going into production. Kevin Feige said that it is going to be rated R, and that's exciting news for everybody who loves Deadpool. So we are getting Deadpool in the MCU proper, rated the way he really should be. I'm excited about that. You have to be both.
Oh, totally. Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and just the fact that they're going to have to work him into the new universe now is going to lead to so many funny one-liners. It's going to be hilarious, just like the McAvoy or Stewart one. It's going to be great. Next up, you're a procrastinator, Harry. Hogwarts Legacy has been pushed to 2022. If you don't know what that is, it is a kind of open world game. I don't know if it's open world, but it's an adventure game. It's from Portkey Games, and it's going to take place in the Harry Potter universe. It's set prior to the movies, something like 80 years or something. It's set in the early 1900s, and it looks very exciting. It looks like the kind of the I don't know, maybe fallout of Harry Potter. A lot of people are excited about it. I'm not sure why it got pushed back, but that's definitely a big one because, this is the first year with a new console cycle. So big games are important.
Right.
I mean, right now, if you could buy a PlayStation 5, would you buy a PlayStation 5? And if you did, what the fuck are you going to play on it? Because everything out I can get on my PlayStation 4.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of exclusives yet. So they need these big games to sell these consoles. Sticking with games, yay, more glitches. I don't know if you saw, there were some huge game announcements, but Ubisoft is working on an open world Star Wars game.
Yes.
Yeah, which means, now we're going, more maps with lots of little things for us to find all over the place. Those of you that don't know, Ubisoft is the same company that makes the Far Cry series and the Assassin's Creed series that we're all currently playing. They have a proven track record. Thank you. Track record of making great open world games where there is just tons of stuff to do. And sometimes, it can take a year to get through it. I mean, AC Valhalla. I took note just for the show. I'm at almost 69 hours into the game.
Wow.
And I feel like I'm barely scratched the surface. I'm still just getting started. The other big announcement there was Bethesda Games is making an Indiana Jones game.
Saw that too. That's exciting.
Now It's exciting, but you have to caution yourself, because if you've ever played a Bethesda game, especially at launch, you know that they are a disaster. Now, Bethesda makes the Fallout series, and they make the Elder Scrolls series, and amazing world builders. Like, there may not be a better company out there at world building than Bethesda. The problem is their games are always a complete disaster when it comes to bugs. I recall Fallout 3 was the first video game that I was playing in real time when DLC packs came out. And prior to that, like, I played Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and it was after everything had been released, so all the bugs were ironed out. I remember that the day the first DLC for Fallout 3 was called The Pit dropped, I was all excited. I pre-purchased it weeks ago. I'm sitting there. The second it's available, I download it. It's morning. This was back years ago when I used to like drink my face off. So usually I'd be asleep, but no, it would set my fucking alarm. I was awake at like 6 a.m. to download this shit. I loaded up, and there are giant exclamation points everywhere, missing assets, and it took like, in every one of their games is like that. It's always, it's sad, but also worth it at the same time. If you give it time to for them to work the bugs out, they're usually amazing, but generally a disaster. What do you think about that, Indiana Jones?
You know what? If done well, that could be a really cool game. Like, there's a lot you can do there, and I just hope we don't get a tie-in to the final Indiana Jones movie, because I really don't want to play old man Indy. I want to be like in his prime Indy,
like Raiders of the Lost Ark Indy.
Yes.
Temple of Doom.
Yes.
Maybe they'll adapt them. I don't know. I mean, we really don't know anything more. Well, I think they did say it was going to be an original adventure, so that's probably a good thing. Next, still kind of keeping with the video games, and I don't really have a catchy title for this, because this story kind of has its own punchline. I don't know if you saw that, but there's a gentleman by the name of Eric Estevillo, not sure how to pronounce his name, out of California, who is suing Twitter and government representatives, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Ilhan Omar. They're part of the squad that everybody hates, suing them for Twitter banning Donald Trump's Twitter, and them for being happy about it, suing them for something like $86 million per person who is a subscriber to the Trump Twitter accounts. He says that because he has to stay at home, he's not able to get out, that was his way of communication. It is stifling his free speech. It is causing him nervousness and panic attacks and anxiety and all sorts of stuff. And I don't want to, it's easy to pick on something like that, pick on a person, because, obviously this lawsuit isn't going anywhere.
Right.
Maybe there'll be some laws about, Twitter and all that, but you can't sue somebody because they like what a business does. That's just ridiculous. That, what caught my eyes about this, what made me read the article, was the fact that he was suing Twitter and AOC and Omar. I was just, what? You can't
sue everybody.
Yeah. But I just to give you some background, and I'm going to kind of leave the story with this. Last year, he also sued Twitch. Okay. He sued Twitch over masturbation injuries allegedly caused by scantily clad gamers on the platform. So that was their fault.
Yeah, their fault that he had to choke the monkey.
Apparently too hard. But that's the news, kids. Now I'm going to go shut off CNN now and drown my sorrows in some ice cream. Paul?
All right. On that note, I think it's time to move right into Corbs's classic movie review.
Really? We're gonna go right after that. We're gonna go into my classic movie review, huh?
That's what it says here.
That's what you're reading. Excuse me, as I nearly die here. All right. So the movie this week is that classic 1980s space opera, Flash Gordon.
Oh.
They all remember.
Wait, now this is 2 weeks in a row that your review movies have a theme song by Queen.
Yeah,
this is true.
Yeah,
this is true. 2 good songs by Queen, by the way. 2
Yes.
soundtracks. So I mean, we're talking Flash Gordon, the original 1980 Flash Gordon. This is your classic bad but good movie from the 80s. Basically 3 people from Earth, I guess, because Earth is being destroyed by a remote leader from another planet, universe, whatever you want to call it, Ming the Merciless. So you got, football
We
star.
podcasted with him once, didn't we?
Same.
Wrong one. The one
okay.
the one we had was actually a really nice guy. He wasn't very merciless, except for he made us walk all over Buffalo. Well, us. You already tapped out from all the walking the night before.
So, obviously follows the Jets football star, the only real football star for the Jets lately. Flash Gordon, him and a travel agent named Dale, and then some crackpot scientist named Hans Zarkov. He apparently built a spacecraft, a rocket ship, in his laboratory. How you don't notice these things driving around or whatever in some guy's laboratory. I don't understand that. They fly off, obviously, into space, somehow end up on the planet with Ming after some really bad cinematography. So, I mean, but it's a movie that no matter when it's on, you're going to watch it. As a matter of fact, it was on just before Christmas, and my girlfriend's brother texted me because it was actually the day after we had her family Christmas party. And for some reason, we got talking about Flash Gordon at the dinner table. Don't remember how it got started, but we started talking about it. And he texted me that the next day at like 5:30 and said it was on. And me being the movie guy that I am, I turned it on and watched it. And then I went through and looked, and it was on the day after Christmas. And me being the movie guy that I am, I watched it again because you can't never get enough of bad 80s movies. So it's a good movie, but it's bad in the way it was made. My estimation, you always ask me 3, out of 5 stars, what you give it. I would give it a 2. But again, I watch every time it's on. I can't understand how come it's never been remade either.
In the early 2000s, the Sci-Fi Channel had a Flash Gordon TV series.
Yeah, that was awful too.
It was out there. They took a lot of liberties. But again, it was sci-fi, so.
Right, and they do with a lot of that stuff.
I love the cereals. Do you remember the black and white cereals?
Yes.
The matinee.
With Buster Crab, yes.
Yeah, those were great.
So,
God, I'm old.
Well, Corbs, you're a little bit more harsh on it than our good friend Roger Ebert was.
No shit.
Yeah.
Really? Holy
He gives
cow.
it a 3-star review, and it goes a little something like this. Not since Inframan has a movie opened with a development more ominous than the crisis facing Earth at the beginning of Flash Gordon. But Earth scientists are playing it cool. A NASA spokesman denies that there's anything unusual about an unexpected total eclipse of the sun. Unusual? That the moon is out of its orbit? Ha! It takes a mad scientist like Dr. Hans Zarkov to realize that the Earth is under attack and speed to the rescue in his private spaceship with Flash Gordon and Dale Arden aboard as unwilling passengers. If memory serves, this is more or less the same beginning as in the original movie serialization of Flash Gordon back in 1936. Even if it's not, this new Dino De Laurentiis production is true to the tacky pop origins of the Flash Gordon comic strip and the serials starring Buster Crabbe. At a time when Star Wars and its spin-offs have inspired special effects men to bust a gut, making their interplanetary adventures look real, Flash Gordon is cheerfully willing to look as phony as it is. I don't mean that as a criticism. You can make a city float in the clouds and look marginally realistic, as in The Empire Strikes Back, but there's something sort of fun about the Flash Gordon city that floats in the clouds and looks like a large miniature model floating in fake clouds. And as the spaceships lumber past on the screen, I really wouldn't have minded if they'd left a tube of model airplane glue lying in the lower left-hand corner. Flash Gordon is played for laughs, and wisely so. It is no more sophisticated than the comic strip it's based on. That's hurtful. And that takes the curse off of material that was old before it was born. This is space opera, a genre invented by Edgar Rice Burroughs and Hugo Gernsback, and other men of unlimited imagination harnessed to definitely limited skills. It's fun to see it done with energy and love and without the pseudo-meaningful apparatus of the Force and Trekkie power. The plot is simple. The Emperor Ming, played by Max von Sydow, bored with life in the universe, decides to pick on Earth. After warming up with a few hurricanes and earthquakes, he sends the moon spinning down towards the planet. Meanwhile, Zarkov, Flash, played by Sam J. Jones, last seen as Bo Derek's husband in 10, and Dale, played by Melody Anderson, crash land in Ming's Imperial Space City. There are intrigues afoot, but meanwhile, Dale catches Ming's eye, of course. He determines to marry her, and Flash finds himself fighting for his life with a gladiator. Mike Hodges, the British director hired by Dale Laurinaitis to orchestrate this comic space opera, is true to the visual tradition of the original serials. Everyone is dressed in capes and ridiculous boots and headdresses and stand around on the command decks of ornate spaceships. There's an imperial court to applaud and boo at the appropriate times. And there's a cliffhanging showdown when the Hawkmen, looking amazingly like the winged angels in Dale Laurinaitis' production as Barbarella from 1968, engage the crew of a spaceship in hand-to-hand battle. You know, there's something lacking with the Ming technology when the commander of the rocket ship shouts, "Stand by to the repel invaders." Is all this ridiculous? Of course. Is it fun? Yeah, sort of. It is. And that is his review of Flash Gordon.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty harsh.
No, I expected.
It sounds like he was celebrating it a bit. Yeah, I was definitely having a good time with it.
Oh,
You know who Dina De Laurinaitis' granddaughter is, right?
No.
Giada Laurinaitis. She's the chef. She's got the TV shows on Food Network.
Everyday Italian. Everyday Italian.
Everyday Italian. Very good. Yeah.
Okay.
She's the one that everybody talks about being hot because she would always be cooking and then she'd have like plunging necklines in her shirt.
No kidding.
Yes.
And interestingly enough, you know, her and Bobby Flay, I believe, both just got divorces, and they just had a TV show about the two of them spending a month in Italy exploring. So I'm wondering if that had anything to do with it.
They did. They actually ended up dating. They're no longer together. It's they did date for a while. After that, after they both got divorced, they ended up dating for a while.
You mean they made it public they were dating?
Yes, right. Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap this show up. We got a couple of lightning round topics to discuss, and I don't know about a book club because I haven't had a chance to read anything this week.
I'm reading a book, but I doubt anyone's interested in it. But I'll say what the name is if anyone wants to check it out.
All right, then meet us back here in just a couple minutes, guys.
All right, bye.
The 4th annual Sci-Fi Horror Fest returns in 2021 with an all-new location. This family-friendly event will have new celebrity guests, new activities and attractions, as well as a diverse selection of vendors, ranging from horror and sci-fi merchandise, artists and authors, tattoo artists, podcasts, as well as unique vendors like breweries and wineries. Sci-Fi Horror Fest will be held on August 27th and 28th at the Vernon Downs Casino and Hotel in Vernon, New York. Guest announcements will begin after the new year. For all up-to-date information, including tickets, vendor space, and sponsorship packages, go to www.sci-fi-horrorfest.com. Please note, Dates of event are subject to change due to any lasting issues due to COVID-19.
All right, and we are back. So let's
Yeah.
jump into it. Now, I just texted you guys both a picture, and this is something I just happened to come across in my internet browsing this week. Apparently, there's a new trend going around for men's facial hair. And Hugh, you want to go ahead and take a look at that right now?
Let me take a look here.
This is something called the monkey tail beard. And I thought it was a joke at first, but I Googled this, and this is a real fucking thing.
Yeah, I saw that. When did I see that? I see that today. I think I saw it.
Will this display in some way, shape, or form?
There you go. You just got it.
What the hell?
All right, and it was a shitty picture, but I will post it after the episode goes up. Look for the Facebook post off of GeekPod, and that image and the article that I found the link to will both be posted underneath our YouTube link on Facebook.
It's like someone took a really long shit starting in his ear and swung it around his mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And if you see some of these online, there's some that are even worse. There's ones where guys are like dyeing stripes into it, so it's a striped one. And people do them like I saw one guy who has a pink beard that's like that. Somebody that has the big handlebar mustache shooting off the end of it. But this is a real thing. This isn't a joke, guys. People are really, really doing this. And I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on it.
And if I see somebody in the street like that, I'm gonna hit him with a bat.
No, you're not.
No, because I wouldn't think, giving you the benefit of the doubt here, of course, I don't think you just wander at the streets with a bat. This isn't fucking a Clockwork Orange. So.
Yeah. And also, I mean, dude, that would be cruel. I mean, seriously, anybody that does that to their beard is not going to be able to fight back.
That is very true.
That's true. I'll give you that one.
What he's saying is that's just easy pickings. Don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. When I
point and laugh. But.
Right.
Same thing. When I saw it on this today, when I was wherever I was, and I saw that, I said the same thing you said. What the fuck is this? And I looked at it, and I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Now, here's my next question. Have we become those old guys that have a problem with the young folks doing this shit now? Kind of like the commercial you see.
That's just stupid.
I agree. But it's kind of like that commercial. I don't even know what the commercial is for, but it's the one where he's leading the group around and basically telling them not to become their dads. And then blue. His hair's blue. Yeah.
Or whatever. Geico?
It could be.
All right. I got to find out now.
That air, Paul.
Yeah. Sorry. Housekeeping in the background. Progressive. So it is still an insurance company.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
I like that one about blue hair though, because we joked about it this year on the golf course. Like, you know, we were just sitting around one day and somebody's like, blue hair, blue. Just that randomly just in the middle of somebody's swing. It's just shit that we do to fuck with each other while we're playing golf. So yeah, I don't play golf with normal people, okay?
I can imagine.
I didn't think that at all.
I play golf with a bunch of assholes, so
true. That's how we used to do it. I remember during college, a group of us got together to play golf at a local one out in Weedsport. I think it was Arrowhead. And
Arrowhead's not in Weedsport.
I thought that's what it was called. Arrow something in there.
Okay, well, Arrowhead's is over here in Fairmont or in East Syracuse.
Oh well, whatever it was, it had an arrow in the name, and it was in Weedsport. And we this was during the days of Janko jeans and all that, and that's how all of us showed up to play golf, was in those huge like wide leg shorts and the wallet chains, and it screamed that we did not belong there. Let's put it that way. And we really enjoyed it, and I don't think the people around us did. But hey, we had a good time.
Are you thinking Meadowbrook? That might be what you.
I remember an arrow. Okay, well, I mean, I've hit my head a lot, so.
Okay, I'm just saying I just googled Weedsport golf course. Meadowbrook came up, so.
All right, well, that's probably
Maybe
it.
it's no longer, and it very well could no longer be there. A couple of golf courses that I've played at are no longer around. So,
Right. Exactly. So I did give everybody a homework assignment before we recorded today, and that was to make sure that we watched WandaVision.
And
we did. Well, I did.
Two of us did it. The teacher did not.
Right.
No.
Yeah, because of stuff beyond my control, I made it through the first episode.
That's what they all say.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than saying we're going to watch something and not watch it, but
that's true. Good point. Good point.
So what'd you guys think? Don't everybody answer at once.
To be honest with you, I found it a little strange.
Yeah.
I didn't get the whole 50s Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz acting.
50s sitcom, totally. Yeah, is where they're going with it.
I didn't. You did that, but then you had the powers that they were supposed to have had, vision, and she could move things around and stuff like that. I was kind of wondering, like, where are we going with this?
That's still where I'm wondering. But again, I've 30 minutes less than you guys have on it.
So Hugh, the second episode, I mean, did you? I don't understand what the hell was going on in that one either.
Well, I think the first thing you have to recognize is as a 50s style sitcom, and they do so far, they're doing a different intro for each one, which I thought was thrilling. The second one was based on Bewitched.
Nice.
Something you might not be remembering is that Vision was dead last time we saw him.
Very dead.
Very, very, very dead. And this is it as a 50s sitcom. It's actually entertaining. That second episode with the talent show, that was entertaining as hell.
Oh, he was fantastic. He was fantastic in that.
Yeah, and they're nailing that feel. It feels like something appropriate to that time, that era. In that way, it's fantastic. But there's another story going on. What we're seeing is clearly not reality, and I have a feeling that that's going to continue to get more and more heartbreaking as we go on. As I've said.
Did you? I noticed at the end, like it was almost like somebody was watching. Like they were doing something and they were watching it unfold.
Yeah, and you remember, Wanda just says no, and she appears to have control over, everything starts rewinding. Trying not to give too much away. She seems to be in control of this world. And in the previous episode, when the guy was choking, she breaks character and says, "Vision, help him."
Yes, I thought that was strange, and I was almost like the Kitty from that 70s show was stuck in a loop with the ha 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 stop it when he was choking.
Okay, we're gonna find out. This is House of M. It has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Paul? You agree with me? Okay, this has
definitely
to be
something to that effect. Yes,
and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be, I think, heartbreaking, as that story is. And I don't want to tell you what that story is, Corbs, because it really does kind of,
it will destroy the show for you.
Yeah,
if it does give you the payoff on it.
But if they're doing what I think they're doing, and I'd almost bet money on it at this. Actually, I would bet money on it at this point. This is going to be really fucking good.
And this is going to springboard directly into Doctor Strange 2.
Yep.
They were already saying that. And I guess the Loki show as well is going to tie into it.
Yeah. It's weird, but I mean, Marvel is doing some amazing things, now that they have Disney bucks behind them. I mean, nobody could pull this off. This is a genre change, even though it really isn't, which you'll find out once we get to the payoff. But nobody would take a risk like this with giant properties. I mean, we are truly, truly lucky to be in the era we are right now, to be able to have these kinds of shows.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Everything isn't just a movie trilogy.
Right.
And we're only superficially exploring the characters.
They have a chance to go really, really deep and into some really interesting areas now with the invention of Disney Plus and with what they're doing and what they can do.
Yeah. Holy crap. Secret Invasion. I am so excited about that. I mean, there's just so much good stuff we have coming down the pipeline, and I think the TV stuff is just as, if not more, interesting than the movie stuff.
Without a doubt. Like you said, it doesn't have to be the big tentpole thing.
Yeah, and it
no.
doesn't have to focus on just the main characters. We're getting to flesh out. I mean, that's what you get. You have big, comic events, and you have the big books like Spider-Man and Avengers and stuff like that. But all those members of the Avengers all have their own book, generally, where they get to explore those characters. And the Scarlet Witch and Vision, amazing characters, but you don't get enough of it in the movie because they have to cover everybody. Really excited to see where this goes. Sad that it's dropping weekly, but
yeah.
Whatever.
I was shocked that we got 2 episodes right off the bat, but I think it's because they are 30-minute episodes.
Oh, well, and I think that you really needed to get to the second episode too, for somebody who isn't familiar with the previous movies and such. Without that second episode, you may not entirely get the fact that there's something else going on. I mean, they really kind of have to show the cracks in the veneer. Because somebody, if they've never watched a Marvel movie and they watch that first episode, they just be like, "What the fuck is that?
What the hell is that?" Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I was kind of like that. I mean, I've seen all the Marvel movies, and I was kind of like, "What the hell is going on?" But
it'll make sense, Corbs. I promise.
No, and I'm fine with that, and I'll keep watching it. I mean, I watched the Disney, the Marvel Legends or whatever that also came out last week. I watched the first 2 that had it, and all it is like a 5-minute thing about each character.
Oh, really? See, I haven't watched those yet.
Yeah, it's all movie clips. There's no exposition or anything like that.
It just kind of explains it and then says, "Oh, we'll continue this character on." And the first 2 are Wanda and Vision, and then they'll see and WandaVision, both of them at the end of it say that. So, I mean, I'm in it for the long haul. I'll watch all the episodes. I hope it. There's a big payoff at the end, which you guys are saying there is. So, I mean, I'm invested in it. So, I'll watch it every week. So,
all right, awesome.
All right, and as long as everything works out, we should be talking about them the night they drop.
Hopefully.
So,
hopefully.
In other TV news, I just want to say, anybody out there who is not currently watching Star Trek Discovery, I implore you to do that. The season 3 finale came out last week, and while some people were concerned about the dark nature of the first season, the second season they got excited because some of the light was brought back into it. The third season has critics saying now this is like maybe the best Star Trek that's ever been put to film in any way, shape, or form. Like it really is a cohesive story, and I mean, oh my God, this last season has been fucking fantastic. I mean, I put it right up there with shit like Game of Thrones and The Sopranos. In the complexity and just how good the writing is, how strong it is. And they needed to start, the first season needed to be dark. People were thinking, oh, this is gritty Star Trek. This isn't the Star Trek I grew up with. You gotta get there, because the Star Trek that they ended with the last episode absolutely put them in a place that is the Star Trek we know and love. The hopeful, and that's the entire premise of this show over 3 seasons is hope. And how, sometimes, hope isn't easy. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you have to fight for it. Layers and layers of messaging. I mean, it's you haven't seen it. So I know neither of you seen it, but oh my God, so friggin' good. And I'm not just saying that as a Star Trek fan. I mean, renewed for a season 4. They could have ended it on that last episode and I would have been happy because it was that good. And they're moving forward, and I'm looking forward to what happens next.
Nice. And this is on CBS
All Access.
All Access. Yeah, they're streaming. Gotcha.
Yeah. Amazing show. But that's all. I had to throw that out there because I'm still, buzzing about it. How good it was.
Outstanding. Any last topics, Corbs?
Not that I got.
All right. You said you're reading something, but you don't think anyone's going to be interested?
Yeah, well, you asked about the book club, and I said I haven't read any comic books, but I am reading as a part of my my recovery here. I am definitely not going to use GeekPod as a place to talk like I did about cooking healthy or things like that. That's not anything anyone really wants to hear. But I will say I'm reading a really good book called The Naked Mind, and if you are interested in, if nothing else, educating yourself about alcoholism and recovery and all that kind of stuff, This is a fantastic book. Kind of rewires the way you think about things. Without going into detail, because again, I don't want this to be a place where I preach about it. This is my fight. But I can't recommend it highly enough. Even if you're one of those people who's just like, I'm fine, but maybe I drink a little too much. You should read this. I say this: if you drink anything at all, you should read this book.
Interesting.
And I'm not saying that it's going to make you not want to. In fact, the whole premise of this is to, by the time you're done, you can drink as much or as little as you want, but you actually understand. And it's definitely science based. And so far, it's a fantastic read. I would say hand this to every 19-year-old kid as they go out into the world before they head to college and take a look, and then go on from there.
Who's the author?
Gotta make me look it up. I meant to.
Sorry, I just need it for the notes.
No, I get it. And I don't have my Kindle right in front of me. Annie Grace.
Perfect. That will be in our show notes with a link as well. I haven't had a chance this week to read anything. I'm hearing a lot of big noise about DC's Future State, and especially DC's Future State Swamp Thing. I'm hearing there's a bunch of first appearances in there. This is going to be a hot book, and apparently it's very, very well done.
That's all great, but none of it matters because Future State is now just a limited event. So
yeah, it's going to be done by the end of February.
Yeah, so it's basically it's going to have the impact of Amalgam Comics,
right? Which is unfortunate because I heard it's very well done so far.
Yeah,
and they've got a lot of good upcoming talent on these books. But like you said, if it doesn't change the status quo at the end, which we already know it doesn't.
And it was supposed to change the status quo, and then they got scared.
Right, and then they fired Dan DiDio. He wanted to do something different called 5G or something like that.
Yep. Basically move the entire DC universe into the future.
Which could be cool, but I mean, didn't they try that once before already? Wasn't there the whole 1 year later thing?
Oh yeah, but 5G was the idea that as much time that's passed in real life has now passed in the DC universe, and most of the superhero names have been passed on to other people.
Right, they've kind of aged out.
Yeah, and they passed them on to other people, and they were going to make that the status quo, which is risky and brave at the same time. But I mean, if you just give some thought to this simple statement here, the way things are now, we're going to be reading about Bruce Wayne as Batman in 100 years.
Yes.
The purpose of 5G was to kind of make things a little more realistic. Clearly Bruce Wayne could not be Batman in 100 years. So basically, in 50 years of publishing, 15 years will have passed.
Right.
In universe. It's kind of crazy.
Which is what they tried to fix with Spider-Man before too, right? Like they tried to close the gap, like actually have there be changes, like when they did the whole thing with him getting married and all that. Like they were trying to grow him up a little bit.
Well, yeah, but they weren't trying to move it forward the same number of years as the comic.
Right. No. But they were actually trying to age him a little bit, if I remember correctly. Yeah. That was still a sore subject for me. I don't think they ever should have done away with the marriage. That was cool, but
that's another show.
Yeah. Anything else before I drop another nugget of wisdom on y'all?
Drop your nuggets.
That is clearly not the first time you've said that to him, Corbs.
Nope.
Okay. It's a good one, especially for Disney fans. Disney's Beauty and the Beast taught us that looks don't matter. As long as you keep someone locked up for a long time, they will eventually fall in love with you. Good night, everybody. And mega baby bitches.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.